All right. So, welcome to the Nobody Speaks podcast. I'm Antonio Longo, and I am joined by a very special guest and birthday girl, Shannon Hemmett of the band Actors and Leathers. So,
Hello.
hello. How are
Thanks for
you?
having me on the show today.
You're welcome. Was glad to see you guys in Brooklyn last month. As you have now wrapped up your North American tour. Welcome home.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much. We just got back like 3 days ago now. So we've been napping a lot and eating lots of wholesome food and
Yeah. You're like, I don't want to go near a Taco Bell.
yeah, no, I think we're more like a Subway band, but like but yeah. Trying
Yeah,
not to eat at gas stations is always a
yeah, I
good
know.
plan.
The worst is when all you have is the gas station and all that's in the gas station is like a McDonald's, like
Yeah.
just like, ugh.
We always
Um,
try, I think we end up eating like a lot of protein bars and things like that. We always try and like grab apples and bananas when we can, but
yeah, it's
out there
tough.
it's tough to eat healthy on the best days. So
I know. I remember, touring years and years ago, and Taco Bell was always the go-to because there was like always like one vegan in the van,
yeah,
one vegetarian, and the rest just
yeah,
didn't care. So it was
yeah,
like that was the compromise. It was like,
yeah,
all right, you can get a bean burrito. Yeah.
yeah. You can get the taco salad.
Right, yeah. Like that's healthy, I'm sure. It's totally
Yeah.
healthy. And so, how was this tour being the first time back out after not being able to play out for a couple of years? How did that feel?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, this particular tour had been rescheduled probably 3 or 4 times just due to pandemic rescheduling. And because we're Canadian, it makes traveling a little bit more challenging. So the
Yeah.
border was closed for a long time and all that. And then we had the vaccination. We've all been vaccinated, but
Right.
you have to. There's the testing requirements and all that stuff. So it made travel difficult. But yeah, the tour was amazing. We found that for a lot of people, it was their first show back to come see us, which was really, really special. And
Yeah.
yeah, to be able to share that kind of that reintegration of live music was really, really amazing. And yeah, to have that experience with people is really, really special.
Yeah, it wasn't quite my first show back, but it was my first time seeing you guys live,
Oh,
and it
cool.
was
Thanks.
my first time back seeing a live band at St. Vitus, which is one of my
Cool.
favorite
Yeah.
clubs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so it was it all kind of came together. I had been there once before, but it was more just because we were in the area and they were throwing a Cure dance party,
Oh,
and,
cool. Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
was like, I'm there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Being the Cure fanatic that I am, and just kind of wanting to get in there and see the place and make sure, okay, cool, it's still standing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we
You know,
love playing at St. Vitus. It's such a neat venue, and we've always had, we've always been welcomed in New York, which is very sweet. We love that. So
Yeah. Yeah, you guys sounded great. It was a lot of fun. The show was with Boot Blacks,
yeah,
which it was my first time seeing them, and they're a Brooklyn band. So
cool.
um
Yeah.
I was a little bummed because it looks like the sound person had a little trouble with the vocals for Boot Blast. It wasn't until like the fourth song that I could finally hear him, and I was like, no, I was like, I'm gonna jump behind the board.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like that musician in you is like, I
I can
mean,
fix this. Let me
yeah,
at it.
exactly. Just move over. Just give me 15 seconds, and I swear
Yeah,
I'll be out of your hair.
yeah.
So that was cool. They are friends and label mates of yours, correct?
Yes, yeah, yeah. We've toured all over with them, and they're definitely family to us. And yeah, we love those guys. It's always nice to be able to cross paths and see them. And yeah, it's always so much fun. We just joke around and lots of laughs and
Yeah, that's important. I've had, luckily all my experiences usually with touring were positive ones as far as with the bands that I've been out with, but I've had friends that have just had like nightmarish
yeah,
tours where, that you weren't really clicking with the other band, and it can definitely put a damper on things for sure. Um,
definitely.
So
Yeah.
all
Jay and Panther are really, really close friends, and they've worked on the Bootblacks records together and stuff like that. So, yeah.
yeah,
And yeah, we've stayed with Ali, and yeah, it's always just been really nice.
yeah.
Nice vibes.
Good. That's yeah, that's super important. Now, now Leathers is also on Artifact Records, correct?
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you have your EP Reckless is currently out,
Yeah.
which is awesome. I
Thank
actually
you.
bought it on CD at the show.
Awesome.
Because
Yay.
I was like, I'm gonna go old school. I'm gonna buy
Yeah,
CDs now.
yeah.
It's like because all I mean, I definitely collect vinyl, but I've had this kind of like little re-love interest with CDs lately. Um,
Definitely.
yeah, it's you know, it's
We've found that being on tour, people like picking up the CD, and in for Reckless in particular, the we didn't really know what the demand would be like, so we didn't press vinyl just in case, you know,
yeah.
just it's an expensive thing to invest in. So we just sort of wanted to see how it went before we committed to that. But yeah, the CD has sold really well, and I hope that because the CD has sold really well, that we'll get to do a vinyl pressing of it in the future. But
Yeah, for sure. Now you are doing there is a little special package right now that you can get right with ordering. I know there's some re-release of some actor stuff and there's a
yeah.
package where you can get a Leathers single, right? Where
Yes,
it's the
yeah, yeah, that's
Runaway
right.
single.
Yeah. So with the reanimated reissue, which is the earliest actors recordings that have been compiled into the reanimated, it's being repressed on vinyl, and it'll be on very fancy pink vinyl this
I
time.
know, I saw it. I was like, ooh, pink vinyl, sign me up. Here we go.
And it includes remixes from those recording, or sorry, the PTL remixes as well. And then, yeah, as a little bonus, we included a flexi disc for the Leathers single "Runaway" in hot pink as well. So it was really fun to be able to do like a physical copy of the new single, because we haven't, you know, released something new that's, you know, you can actually hold in your
Yeah.
hand and put on your record player. So yeah, that's also included in that special edition release.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely a fan of streaming because I've learned learned a lot about new bands and
Absolutely.
the quick putting together a playlist, but
Yeah.
there's definitely nothing like having a physical copy. So that's why I was excited to grab Reckless, and I had already listened to it a bunch streaming, but the next morning I kind of busted it open, put it in the CD player, and I'm listening it, and it's another experience, and I don't know what
Yeah.
it is because the song isn't different,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
but now there is this, physical attachment to go with your emotional attachment to the music
Totally. Yeah.
that
And as a artist and a designer, like I do all the packaging design and stuff like that too. So it's yeah, it's I always like it when people appreciate the physical copies, because, you know, I put like a lot of thought into like how the packaging looks too, and it's like it's another whole experience to kind of open it up and like read the lyrics, or, you know, see what color the CD is, or all that kind
yeah,
of
no,
stuff.
absolutely, yeah.
It's all
Is it gonna be matte? Is it shiny? Is it
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Is the jewel case see-through, or is it, you know,
right? When
there's
you
all
take the
like
CD out, is there something underneath? Is there artwork under it?
totally, yeah, yeah. All those little things I think about and are important to me. So it's nice when
Yeah.
people appreciate that stuff too.
Yeah, I remember my buddy James Deweese, who used to be in the Get Up Kids, and he does that band Reggie in the Full Effect.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, cool.
Yeah, so he had an album, and the album was called Under the Tray, and the
Nice,
and the
yeah,
CD actually was underneath the tray, like they put
yeah.
another, and I was like, oh, dude, that was freaking genius. Like, it was so
Very
funny.
good. Yeah, very clever. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, and
I love a smart merch item. That's I would
yeah,
strive for that that kind of stuff for sure.
and before streaming, like you judged if you were gonna buy a record or not by how it looked, like
Yeah,
that was such a key part of music that I feel like is making a little bit of a comeback because
yeah,
that
yeah,
that
definitely.
went away,
Yeah.
like you used to thumb through the record store and it was by sight, and then a
Yeah.
lot of times then the secondary would be flip it over and I'd be like, all right, well, who did they thank on the back of it? Okay, I like
Yeah.
that band. So
Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
what, again, or what label are they on? You
Yeah,
know,
or what producer they're all working with, like,
right.
or who's mixing the record, like all you can see these kind of threads that kind of connect certain bands and certain sounds and genres and stuff like that. And yeah, there's a whole story in the liner notes that you can pick clues from.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a whole nother aspect of the album that has been, lost a little bit on,
Yeah,
today. And like, that's why with my kids, like, I'll never say no to buying them physical records.
yeah, yeah,
You know, almost every Saturday we try to make the trek to the record store and, you know, I mean, sometimes they'll, like my son will look up on the ones that are up on the wall and
yeah, yeah.
he loves Queen and he's like, Dad, look at that Queen record. And I'm like, yeah, dude, that's like a first press. It's like mint. It's like not even open and it's like $249. He's like,
It's
oh.
high on the wall, so
Yeah,
don't.
I'm like when they're high up on the wall like that, there's a
Yeah.
reason.
They're really expensive. That's
And
awesome.
then
Which
and
Queen
then
record is it?
I'm trying to remember which one that was. I think it was A Night at the Opera.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has most of them on vinyl, but they've just been like, the thumb through ones.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I just started where I want to get one of each original press. So
Oh,
now
nice.
now
Yeah, yeah.
that kind of hunt has been on,
Yeah,
and I'm like, all right, damn it, because like The Cure is like my favorite band ever, and then
yeah,
Queen's right up there. So
yeah.
it's like, I mean, forget it with the Cure records. I mean, I've got a good bunch, but I mean, I still don't have Wish on vinyl because it was never repressed or anything. And
That's right. Yeah. Some
that's
of
like
those
the
records,
coveted one. That's like really hard to
yeah.
get.
Some of those records from the 90s, they only did like one pressing of like 500 records or something, and then that's it. They just gave them out as like promo copies and didn't even put them in stores.
Yeah, yeah, because that's when they thought it was like dying out, you
Yeah.
know. And then it had this, the resurgence, and now, I mean, forget it. I was talking to uh this 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 kid Mike who's in a band called House of Harm,
Yeah.
and he was saying, I was like, all right, so you finished mixing the new record, like when is it going to be out? And he goes, honestly, we're not even going to drop the digital till we can get the vinyl, and we're looking at anywhere from 6 months to like maybe 9 months.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I was like, no. I'm like, don't do that to me. I'm like, trust me, if you put it out streaming, I'm still gonna order the vinyl.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely.
but that's the craziness that we're in with that, is that
Yeah.
it's now all these pressing plants that closed aren't necessarily reopening just because there's a demand again, and now you've got like only a couple really doing it, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I think there's a shortage of the material as well. So and then you have the scheduling backlogs as well with major labels versus the independent labels. So yeah, I think it took us about 9, 10 months to have the actor's record pressed and delivered to
Yeah.
us. So, but we decided to release singles and videos along the way just to kind of, create some excitement about the record and to keep people interested that there was new music coming out every few months and stuff like that. So that we felt like that worked for us. And then when the vinyl came, there was like another like rush of excitement, like, oh yay, we finally have the vinyl.
Yeah. No, I know because I pre-ordered it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I, I was waiting along as well. I was like,
Yeah.
so yeah, so let's I'm gonna backtrack a little bit now.
Sure.
You're saying how you design a lot of all the merch and the packaging. So you were originally a graphic designer by trade, correct? Or
Yeah, even prior to that, I went to school for photography. So
oh, okay.
I worked as a photographer in the music industry and was a commercial photo assistant for 10 years before I became a graphic
Oh
designer.
wow.
So I was kind of in music and the arts through that route initially. But yeah, then I got a job at a graphic design studio, and I did a lot of branding for restaurants and things like that. And then I always designed like my own t-shirts and stuff on the side. And yeah, I designed like album covers. And if there's a photographic component, it's nice that I can also capture the photos the way I'd like to as well. So yeah, the skills kind of complemented each other so that I was able to yeah, do the full packaging on certain projects.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you're left-brained, you're left-brained,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just
Yeah.
something that's really in there. And you guys have a great packaging, great design. So
Oh, thanks.
kudos there. I was pretty bummed at Seeing Vitus when I got there and you didn't have the shirt with the
Oh
nun
yeah,
on
the
it. I was
nun
like,
shirt, yeah.
no. I
We
was
might
like,
be able to find
no.
one for you. There might be a couple left in
I know.
the
I was like,
We got
no.
another like another merch drop for the West Coast tour. So there, yeah, there might be a couple left.
Okay.
We'll
Well, we'll
find you
have
one.
we'll have to talk about that on the side.
Yeah.
um, and then you also are a tattooer,
Yes,
correct?
yep. Yeah, so after I worked at the design studio for a while, a long time, my friend Chris, who is a tattooer, he also we initially met in the design world, and he became a tattooer about 10 years ago. And things with actors were picking up. I was doing a lot of touring, and it was sort of becoming more difficult for me to keep a proper schedule at the
Hmm.
design studio. So and we had always like drawn together, and kind of we were just art buddies, and we always like hung out and did creative stuff. We worked on some packaging projects together too for music. And he's like, why aren't you tattooing? He's like, I never really thought of this before, but like why don't you try tattooing? And I was like, yeah, I had always been interested in tattoos. Like I had, been a collector, had been, tattooed a lot. Like most of my body's tattooed, even though, you
Yeah.
can't see any here, but
Right. Yeah. So
but
you
yeah,
don't you don't have what we call the career killers like that.
yeah, the job stoppers. Yeah. So I'd always like got, had been interested in the collecting side of tattoos. And yeah, Chris offered to mentor me as a tattooer. So I did my apprenticeship about 4 years ago now, I think it was. Oh, maybe 5 years ago. I don't know. Time is
I
kind
know
of
it flies, right?
strange in pandemic world, but I did my apprenticeship for 2 years, and I've been tattooing for about three now. So yeah,
Nice.
it was a really seamless transition. I feel like my background in design really prepared me for a lot of the things I would need to kind of navigate in terms of the artistic process of tattooing, like working with clients. And um, yeah, just problem solving certain things. And then the
Right.
technical aspect is just something that you just have to do in order to learn. So I
Yeah.
always oh, go.
I always tell people like there's a difference. There are artists that then figure out how to tattoo,
Yeah,
and then there are tattoo artists.
yeah, for
You
sure.
know,
Yeah,
sometimes people like, they'll come to me obviously being covered. Oh, I want to get this. Where should I go? And
yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, well, what are you looking to get? And
yeah,
what's the feel? There's a lot more to it. Like I have my friend Stacy who's tattooed me. She again, phenomenal artist, whether it's drawing, painting, like all this different stuff. She just figured out, okay, now I'm just using another canvas, which is
yeah,
skin, and
yeah,
transitioned into that, as opposed to people that are like, oh, well, I used to be able to draw and I love tattoos. Let me get into tattooing.
yeah,
It's like I've
sure.
known
Yeah,
tattooers that no, they don't paint, they don't, they don't do like charcoal drawings or
yeah,
that's just what they do. So
yeah,
there's different aspects of it, and I always love when there's that when the artist then just gets it to skin is a different thing. And I think
Yeah, yeah,
packaging design also, with a background in that, gives you a little bit of an edge, because I try to explain to people too, and I'm like, you know, your body's not flat, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and the
exactly.
and the curvature of where you're putting something, if you want something that's very square and you're putting it on your calf
Yeah,
that's rounded, you're not, people
yeah,
tend to sometimes not see that. And, unfortunately, I know that there are tattooers that'll put anything anywhere for the money and
for
not
sure.
dig
Yeah,
into that aspect of it, where, you can really get with your clients and say, hey, if you're really looking for this would be better on that, and more people need to have, I feel like, should have that eye in the industry. And it's definitely,
definitely. There's a lot, yeah, there's a lot of things to consider. Like placement is, is probably 25% of a good tattoo. Like
yeah.
it's so important. And, having the right size, like not putting something that's too small on like a muscle group that's large, and like
Mhm.
just kind of all these kind of layout things that you're thinking about on a person that moves and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and is stretchy and and all that stuff. Type, like, a lot of people like having words in their tattoos. So doing, making sure that the letter spacing is correct, and that, you're using a typeface that will age appropriately over time and will actually be legible within, 10 years time or 20
Yeah.
years, is really, really important. And a lot of people who don't have necessarily the design background, it's not that they're not doing good lettering tattoos, they're just maybe not considering that kind of technical aspect about it sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, yes, I mean, we've all seen those kind of, unfortunate tattoos where like the lettering is like not legible or something like that.
Yeah, it's
And
just completely blended together, and it looks like,
yeah,
when you have a piece of paper and you wrote on it with marker and then you spill water on it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. So these things are important to consider. It's like, for me, I like doing really bold tattoos that are kind of, they have a graphic design or like a pop art sort of element to them, so that they're really bold, they're long lasting, and they're clear. So if someone glances at it, your brain understands what it is right away. You're not trying to kind of, yeah, those are
yeah.
the tattoos that I really appreciate, and those are the ones that I like to do too. I like the really bold stuff. And
Well, if you ever take your machines with you on tour,
yes,
let
yeah.
me know.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah. Sometimes it's with the touring schedule, it's so difficult
Oh
because we're
yeah.
like day to day, we're in a different place, of course. So, but sometimes
Yeah,
we have
you
days
you
off.
guys were seriously road warriors on that last
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah.
I was looking, I was like, where are those days off for
Yeah, we
those
didn't have any.
long drives? And I was like, nope. And I was like, oh, kudos. Like,
Yeah, I think,
going from not doing it for a while to like hammering it like that must have
yeah, some
been
of the
interesting.
days were kind of compressed together because they were rescheduled so many times. But normally we like to try to have at least a day off a week. But this time it was sort of tricky to do that. But it was so fun. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's the best.
And
Even
then
if you're tired, it's the best thing.
oh yeah, for sure. And then you did have a new element or band member on this
Yes,
tour
yeah,
for the
yeah,
first time in
yeah. We had
Kendall.
we had Kendall, yeah,
um
my girl.
nice. Yeah, so that was that had to be interesting. And it's always, I mean, it's always tough, in a situation where you have to replace band members.
Yeah,
um
absolutely.
and it seems like actors lucked out with a smooth transition that I know can sometimes make or break a band. I literally know, because I've had bands, you know, fall apart because, you lost, like the last full band I was in, we lost the bass player. Uh,
Yeah.
and it completely changed the dynamic when we tried to bring other people in, because now that whole rhythm section was two different types of players, and there was a very, I've seen it easily fall apart. But
Yeah,
it seems like
definitely.
you guys have been blessed with a second, wave with a new member. So how's
Yeah,
that been?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, she's amazing. She's so talented and she's dedicated and she plays every second that she can. She's just an amazing friend to me and to the rest of the band too. Um, yeah, I think like in terms of the transition, as you know, as a touring musician, sometimes it's like, you know, sometimes you're playing music people with people that you love, but you don't necessarily like the element within the van is kind of tough sometimes. And
Right.
people don't travel the same, or they don't have like similar what do you like I can't think of the word.
Well, even as simple as like we would argue over like, my friend Eddie, when I was in Taking Back Sunday, he had to drive with the windows all the way down. And we'd be like, dude, it's freezing out.
Yeah, and it's
You know,
loud.
and it's loud. Yeah. So it'd always be
Yeah.
that argument because if Eddie was driving, window was down. I'm like, dude, I'm back here freezing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah, people like to sleep at different times and eat different things, and like there's all these kind of like isms that people have, which make
yeah.
people endearing and also make people like kind of like crazy at each other as well. So yeah, to be able to find someone like Kendall who just like fits in so seamlessly, and touring during the end of the pandemic was like so crazy some days. Like, we were we were denied boarding to our flight to Los Angeles, so we had to drive all the way down the coast to get to our show in San Diego, and like all these crazy things that happen, and to no fault of our own because we're a super organized band, but like it's just this post-pandemic environment is
Yeah.
really is still challenging to travel in. And like I said, being Canadian, it makes the border challenging. So even though we have our visas and we have our medical documents all in order, there's still
Right.
like an opportunity for the airline to be like, nope, not today.
Right. You're
So
like,
but yeah, all
but
that said,
but we don't have a day off in the next 10 days, so it has to be today.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, uh, all of the members and actors, like everyone's so supportive of each other, and we just help each other and we love each other. And yeah, I mean, it's literally the best situation to be in for a band. Like we're so grateful that it's just, we can just do anything. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Now, Kendall was also involved with Leathers because she's in the new
Yes,
video, and
yes.
she plays guitar on some of the
Yes, yep, she'll be playing
record.
guitar, and then on the recording she plays guitar, but in the live situation she'll play synth and guitar. So
Oh, okay, cool,
yeah. Yeah, and then
nice.
Adam will play drums. So it's kind of it's just Jay won't be on stage, but
So, is there a possibility of there ever being a double tour where you guys will pull double
oh yeah,
duty?
I'm sure. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, logistically it just makes sense for us to tour together. And
Yeah, just put a band in between so there's that rest time, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, we'll definitely aim to do more of that. We're both bands will be at Cold Waves, which will be
yes.
in New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. So we'll be doing some fill-in dates together around those festival dates in September. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
super
that
excited.
when
Yeah.
I saw that lineup. I think I had actually had mentioned it to you. I was like, "All right, if you guys got a day off and you wanna play, out on Long Island, let me know."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to that. That will be I believe the New York Cold Waves will be the live debut of Leathers. So we haven't performed live with that project yet. We were just kind of figuring out exactly how we wanted to present it, and
Yeah.
we wanted to have some more songs to create a really nice set list. And yeah, it's all coming together. It's super exciting.
Yeah, it's like you guys are a transformer, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Although when it
Go from
transforms
dark
to
to dreamy.
yeah, when it transforms to Leathers, though, Jason's just inside of it, so you can't
Yes,
see
yeah.
it,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
being
Yeah.
producing it and everything, so
Yeah.
still his imprint is still there, but he's not
Absolutely.
physically,
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, Jay and I co-write the songs together, so his influence is definitely there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great to have such a solid writing partner is like super important. I know, before we started the podcast, we were chatting about that, and that's been also what's been difficult for me. My best friend moved off of Long Island into Pennsylvania, who always recorded and produced my stuff, and that I could always
Yeah.
bounce things off of and would write with me, and then all of a sudden he's 4 hours away, and you
Yeah.
kind of, you lose that. And I tell you, there were times that, when you're in that writing funk, it would just be as simple as him saying to me, like, "Oh, let's try to add this, or put this there, or how about I just throw this guitar lick over it and changes everything." So
Yeah.
having that is super important. And there are, I was thinking about it earlier. I feel like you and Jason are kind of Robert and Simon. I feel Simon
Nice. Yeah,
Callow and
yeah.
Robert
Yeah,
Smith.
I love
I
it.
fe I feel like, because there's just, I can tell you guys have such a gelling presence, not just in the songwriting, just from getting to know Jason and stuff, but even like seeing you guys live and just hearing your music and his music. I feel like that's that little dynamic there, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
maybe that's a Halloween costume for you guys one year.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, we'll do that for sure. I think we're in Paris this year for Halloween, so maybe we'll
Oh,
do
really? Oh, yeah.
that.
Well, the whole band should just be The Cure. I mean, that'd be
Yeah,
super
yeah.
easy to
Yeah, yeah, Jay's amazing. I mean, he's so talented. He's an amazing producer and songwriter, and yeah, it's been so cool to be able to write and learn from someone who has so much experience with songwriting, and that perspective, just like bouncing ideas off one another, is so cool. It yields some really interesting results, and yeah, it's so much fun. I love being in the
Right.
studio.
So now I know Jason touched on it quickly when I spoke to him on the podcast, but how did you guys meet and eventually work on music together?
So, like I said to you before, I had been doing photography and in music and that, and so we
Right.
kind of initially knew each other through that, like in the early 2000s. So Jay and I have known each other for almost 20 years now, I guess. But we weren't we he hadn't started doing producing at that point. He was songwriting in different bands and things like that. So that's how we had sort of crossed paths through photography and music. But um, yeah, I guess later on, I was working at a design studio in a neighborhood where he was a restaurant manager, and he was putting on these like vinyl record nights where he'd have people come in and spin some music and stuff. And he invited me to come in and spin some records, and we saw that we had so much like music in common, like interest wise, um, and I had always played guitar and had been musical, and
That was your
since I
first
was
instrument, guitar?
saxophone was my first
Oh,
instrument
okay.
in school band. But yeah, saxophone, then guitar, and I played drums in jazz band for a little bit too when I was in school. So I'd been musical since I was young, and I had started playing guitar and singing more on my Instagram. I was kind of doing these little like 30-second covers because that's all the video
Oh, back then, yeah, you couldn't
time
do that. Yeah.
time was. So
Well, that was so long ago.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. So Jay had sort of seen me singing and playing guitar, and he was like, "You have a nice voice. Like, why aren't you in a band? What's going on there?" So when I go to the restaurant and play records, we kind of talked about collaborating on some stuff, and I figured out I wanted the project to be called Leathers, and yeah, we recorded Missing Scene together. That was before I had joined Actors, so we had done that song together, separate from Actors at that time. And then as things with Actors kind of progressed, the keyboard player that was in Actors prior to me was starting a family, and he was touring with other bands and stuff like that. And Jay had asked me to fill in on keyboards for a couple shows because their keyboard player was out of town, and then I became a full-time member. So yeah, it just all kind of, yeah, just happened that way.
Yeah, it's nice when it's organic like that,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you don't have to put an ad in, on Craigslist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we found that we had a lot of music in common, and I didn't have very much experience performing, but yeah, Jay felt that having a female presence in the band was really nice, and he noticed that, people were kind of responding to the band in a different way, and yeah, it just kind of worked out really nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, with Kendall, it's like you guys kind of like you're like bookends.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like it's just this perfect. You guys got the perfect vibe going on up there. I'm
Oh,
I'm
thank
super excited to see the Leathers stuff come to life live, for
Cool. Yeah,
sure.
thank you. Yeah, me too.
It's been it's been fun, discovering new music and then finally getting to see you guys. And um we put your videos on earlier today. I threw them on the TV with YouTube, and I'm like, God, I love smart TVs. This is so.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, let these play through. And it's funny, I didn't know that you did have the background in photography as well, because I was gonna ask you, like, who's been doing the photographs? Because I gotta say, the Leathers photographs are just always. I was like, damn,
Thank you.
this is like some GQ shit. I love
Thanks.
it.
Those are very intricate selfies.
Really, get out.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy
Yeah.
man. Wow.
So I set up, I basically the cover for Reckless and the new cover for Runaway. Those were both photographed in my living room.
Wow.
So I set up lights
I'm
in my
thinking
living
like you had
room.
a photographer friend come in with all the stuff, and you did a whole day shoot. It's like, oh, wow. It's
No,
literally
it's
on
just
my notepad. Ask who the photographer was.
yeah. Hi, it's me.
Wow.
Yeah, we just set up lights in my living room and set up the camera on a tripod and a timer and just kind of see what happens. Just do my makeup and put on a cool outfit and just play around.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Kudos.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Well, so has music always been ingrained in your DNA? Did you grow up in a musical house? Did your parents play a lot of music? Like, where did that love come from?
Not really, no. I mean, like my dad liked kind of rockabilly and surf rock stuff like Roy Orbison and the
Mhm.
Ventures and things like that. So, but there wasn't a lot of music being played in the house, I would say. Like no one played an instrument or anything, but yeah, it was just I don't know, it was just something that I felt drawn to. My grandmother played piano and organ, so maybe there's some lineage through that, but yeah, there's not a lot of music in my actual DNA, I would say,
Yeah.
but
and
but I
and
was
what
definitely drawn to it.
and what songs or artists would you say when you heard them you were like, I want to play music? Like, I mean, I distinctly remember when I was a kid, being homesick from school, and it happened to be Elvis Presley's birthday, so they were showing all the movies on TV,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like I saw Viva Las Vegas, and I'm like, wait, this guy can just start singing in a restaurant, and everybody pays attention to him,
I know,
and he's
yeah.
so cool, and his hair, and
He's so charming and
I
he
was like,
like
I want that.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think some of the first things I listened to, definitely like Nirvana and Hole. I loved them. Those were like really important bands to me. Depeche Mode, like once I sort of came into that more darker new wave sort of vibe after grunge. I was definitely like I love Depeche Mode. They're one of my favorites too. But things I heard when I was a kid, like I think I remember like yeah, Elvis and like Beach Boys were like artists that I heard quite often, like kind of out and around in the world and that kind of thing. Love the Eurythmics, like Annie Lennox, of course, is just
Oh yeah, she's
fabulous. Love
amazing.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
um,
That's a anytime I like if I see Eurythmics records on vinyl, I'm always like, like it's
yeah,
bad because I don't even check like, do I have this one already? I'm already like, no, no, yep, okay, that's going
yeah.
in my pile.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are sort of like the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Nine Inch Nails I liked a lot too when I was a teen, of course. Their packaging was always great too, of
Oh
course,
yeah,
with
oh
all the
yeah,
all the
masters
digipacks
of
and the
that.
special like sleeves that they had on the CD packaging and stuff like that. That was inspiring. Bowie, can't forget David Bowie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so things
yeah.
like that. But yeah,
We
I
did,
definitely like in the 90s grunge, I loved a lot of that stuff, like Soundgarden too. Love Soundgarden, still like listen to them.
yeah.
Um,
Chris Cornell's voice was beyond. I
yeah.
mean, oh god, it's I always like break down the Seattle bands, and I'm like, Nirvana had the angst. You know, Pearl Jam seems to have had the longevity. Alice in
Hmm.
Chains, Alice in Chains had the unbeatable harmonies with two voices like that, and
Yeah, yeah,
and Soundgarden had Cornell.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
whether he was whispering or yelling, it was just something so unbelievable. I remember the last time I saw Soundgarden, it was actually with Nine Inch Nails,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
on Long Island at Jones Beach Theater.
Cool.
So it's outdoor amphitheater, and I remember it was just I think yeah, there was no opening band. Well, technically Soundgarden opened, but I remember him singing Black Hole Sun as the sun was setting.
Oh my gosh.
And there was just this like this magical moment
Yeah.
hearing that, that voice like coming across, and it's like, and I'm watching the sunset over here, and it was like the perfect weather, and I was just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you know.
Like, where
Um
am I right now?
yeah, exactly. Like
What
I
is
was like,
happening?
yeah, it's like the Truman Show or something where I realized all of a sudden I'm like in a movie, or like it was
Yeah,
just
yeah, absolutely.
it was
Yeah.
just one of those musical magical moments that I always like kind of hold on to.
Yeah.
Um
We listened to a lot of music in the van, of course, when we were on tour. And recently, Jay and I put on 4th of July from Super Unknown, and that
oh,
song's just incredible. It like,
so
yeah,
good.
so good.
Yeah. Um Jane's Addiction, that's another one that I always blasted a lot on tour.
Nice. Yeah.
Like just good driving songs, like here
Yeah.
we go. Like you're
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I didn't get into them so much. Jay really likes them, but I think I'm a little bit younger than Jay, so it wasn't quite the right timing for me for it to like infiltrate into my brain and be like, yes, Jane's Addiction.
so what is your go-to album what to listen to in the van on tour? What's like it's like
Oh,
when they're like, all right, Shannon, your pick.
yeah.
What are you putting on?
What am I putting on? The cats are running around right now, so if you can
They're
hear.
just happy to have you back. They're still
Yes,
partying for
yeah,
your birthday.
exactly. Hmm. I mean, Violator by Depeche Mode's always a good one to put on. There's like no bad songs on that record. I like Ultra too. That one always sticks out for me.
Oh yeah.
What else do we like to listen to? I love listening to Judas Priest in the van too.
Oh, nice.
We sometimes put on British Steel, and that's always like a good driving, good driving record. I like that one
Oh,
too.
hell yeah.
What else? Uh,
Because these are the things fans really want
that's
to
right. Yeah.
know.
I could open up my Spotify and see. We've been listening to the new Grimes record a lot too.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I love that new song Violence that she put out. I think it's that whole record's actually really cool. It's like a really creative
Yeah, I haven't listened to
or
the whole
pop
album.
record.
I definitely have to check it out. It keeps getting brought up, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get to it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of what else would be in my history from uh
Because I used to have some funny ones.
yeah.
I would go for like I'd grab like, and this is when we would bring CD books
Yeah.
on tour.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but Madonna's Immaculate Collection,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I would always be like, and they'd be like, oh, Antonio's driving.
Yeah. I love her 90s records like Erotica and what's the other one? blanking on it right now, but you know what I mean. The
Yeah,
90s
yeah.
era of Madonna is all really
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Um,
It's like it was like sexy but badass.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I had something in mind and it slipped my
You're like,
Oh,
now I'm on the Madonna train. I can't.
yeah, Live Through This by Hole is something I'll always put on too. I love
Nice.
that record. Get
Uh,
some 90s girl vibes in there.
oh yeah, you gotta. I mean,
Yeah.
that was definitely a good powerful time, for the female musicians. I mean, actually, a friend of mine just went to see Tori Amos
Oh, cool.
a few nights ago, and I was like,
Cool,
oh my
yeah.
god! I was like, I'm having high school flashbacks. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I saw her multiple times in high school. I was like, uh, definitely loved me some Tori Amos for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
um, now the video that you just released
Yes,
for
yeah.
Leathers.
Yeah.
Um, now the same person do all three videos for or different.
No, so there's videos for Missing Scene, Day for Night, and Reckless and Runaway. So there's 4 videos.
Right.
I did the first 2. So I did Missing Scene and Day for Night, shot those myself on
Okay,
an
so what don't you do? Well,
iPhone.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah, I'm here to say that you can, if you put your mind to it, you could pretty much figure it out and do it. I shot those on an iPhone and edited them together in iMovie, so no
That's
excuses.
fantastic. Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
So I
I
put
love it.
those two videos together myself, mostly just out of like, not having the budget to pay someone to do it. So and wanting to have like a little bit of control over the visuals and stuff like that. And so did those 2 videos, and then Wayne Morehart, who's a collaborator with actors
Yes.
on a lot of the recent actors videos, he did the last 2, so Reckless and Runaway. And yeah, he's so great to work with. He comes up with really good video concepts. Like sometimes when I come up with a concept, it's like a little too complex, or I can't quite get it storyboarded fast enough, or I'm not quite sure how to interpret certain things because I come from photography, and film is a totally different medium. So
Right.
sometimes it's difficult to work between the two to make a strong video. But yeah, he's so great at coming up with these like really like swift, like digestible, visually cool videos. And yeah, he's been amazing to work with.
Nice. Yeah, I'm also loving the reinsurgence of music videos. Um,
Yeah.
the Cure podcast that I do called The Holy Hour with some buddies of mine. Actually, I had another podcast about the Cure, but now we've kind of like merged together. We
Nice.
recently did an episode just about Cure videos. Um,
Cool. Yeah, yeah.
and just like the history of music videos and kind of how, as when we were kids, that was one of the ways to discover new music because, you know, going to your FM radio was definitely, depending on where you lived, you were hearing something totally different.
Yeah, yeah,
It, you know,
definitely.
when I
Yeah.
was growing up, there wasn't across the board, but like, you know, when a Guns N' Roses video came out and it premiered on MTV, everybody saw it at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
you know, so
Yeah,
just
it's pretty like magic how you think about sort of like these cultural waves happen because of MTV and so many.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because I was last night I was in Manhattan. We went to go see Ryan Adams,
Oh,
and
cool.
and at one point this guy gets up to like go get a beer or whatever, and he was probably like maybe like 24 years old, and he's wearing like an MTV T-shirt and like like checkered Vans and like and I'm
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at him and I'm like, wow, I'm like MTV is older than him. Actually, it probably hasn't been playing music videos a lot since he's been alive. And you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I was kind of like going through this in my head and I'm like, but it's still like such a cultural icon, even, and it says music television when there's like no music on it anymore.
yeah, yeah,
But it was super important to music industry, to bands. I mean, there were bands that their video made them, you
yeah,
know, and it's like
absolutely.
crazy to think. And I think that that can still happen now today because, like you
Yeah,
said, you can record a video, put it out yourself. You know, now you can record your album and have it on Spotify like this.
yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yeah,
I mean, I remember, my first band ever, like, duping cassette tapes all night long at in our
yeah,
friend's basement, and then it was burning CDs, and then it was,
yeah,
and now I'm like, oh, cool, I can just put this on here, and now somebody in Italy can hear it like immediately, I'm like,
yeah. It's so crazy.
or
I
YouTube, boom, you
Yeah,
put a video on YouTube, and somebody post it, and it just spreads like wildfire, you
yeah.
know?
I was wondering if I noticed that MTV is licensing their like imagery on a lot of t-shirts
Oh
and
yeah.
like socks and like all sorts of like merch items. So I was wondering if maybe they're sort of planting the seed for a return to like music television somehow.
I'd love to think that's the fact, but I think it's YouTube owns the I think
Yeah.
the video
Maybe they'll
industry now.
have like, I don't know, maybe there'll be like an evolution. Maybe there'll be like a show on Netflix that like caters to
Right? I
new
don't
music
know.
or something. I don't know.
Maybe you could start a show.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I'll be your VJ.
yeah, exactly. Like, welcome.
This
Yeah,
is Shannon on MTV.
yeah. You'll set up like a cool backdrop in your place. You'll be like, this is my
Yeah.
MTV corner. This is my photo
Yeah.
shoot corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one more thing I did also want to ask you, recently, over the lockdown, you came up with a really awesome piece of artwork that I was like, holy shit, this makes so much sense. I love it.
Oh, thanks.
So you've been doing, based on old Boss guitar pedals,
That's right. Yeah.
different bands, in an artwork form.
Yeah, yeah.
Where did that come from? Where did that idea come from?
Okay, so yeah, at the beginning of the pandemic, when things were in lockdown, I was unable to tattoo. So I was painting these mystery paintings for people. People would send me like 75 or $100, and I would do just like I would just kind of pick something. I would kind of lurk through people's like Facebook walls and see like what they were into, and then I would paint them
Right.
something special and like unique, and like it would be a surprise for them when they received it. So I was doing these, and actors fan from Austin had emailed me and wanted to do a mystery painting, and I like noticed he was like really into slow dive. He had like before the pandemic and the lockdown, he had gone to see like slow dive like 7 times or something. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do like kind of a slow dive theme piece. And I was like, well, wouldn't it be cool if like there was a slow dive guitar pedal? So I painted that for him. It was like a watercolor painting. I did like ink outlines of the pedal and then kind of just did like washes of like
Uh,
watercolor kind of blue, kind of like dreamy shoegazy blues and stuff like that. So I did that, and then people were so excited. They're like, "Oh, do one for me. I want like The Cure, or I want,"
uh,
and it just kind of took off from there. And then because painting them wasn't the most time efficient way, I ended up doing more design oriented ones and then doing prints of them instead. So yeah, there are some painted ones that are out there. There's a lot of prints out there, but yeah, I've done over over 150 of them now, all different artists.
oh
And
wow,
yeah,
that's great.
it has been such a neat project, and people have commissioned ones of their own bands too, so that's been neat as well to
Oh,
get to
okay.
know some different music and that through their contact and asking to have their pedals made too. So yeah.
Cool. So people can find those on your website, right?
Yes, yep. shannonhemmett.com. And that's
Okay. Yeah.
SHANNONHEMMETT.com.
So yeah, you prints and t-shirts. I saw, right? You can.
Yep.
That's super rad.
Yep. And you can make a custom request. There's like a form on there if you want to do one that you don't see, or yeah, if you have a special one that you want to have made for a friend, we can do that. It's no problem.
That is awesome. So I love it. You're just, continuing to spread even with your art, just like the love of music. And it's just great that you're encompassing all things like art and music, because there needs to be more of that in the world.
Oh, thanks.
There's just so much negative. Like I said, we went to see Ryan Adams last night and he was playing solo.
Yeah.
It's one guy on a guitar, and literally tell you we saw about 3 fights.
Oh no.
And I was like, really? And I'm like, are we just that angry right now? Are we
Yeah.
like this is supposed to be your time out of that and your therapy? I mean, that's what music
Yeah.
has always been to me. It's been my therapist. It's been,
Yeah.
it's been my shoulder to cry on. It's been the thing that's lifted me up. You know, there's something about it, because music is made good. Well, I'm gonna preface that. Good music
Yeah.
is made from emotion.
Yeah.
Yes, there's music out there that is, just made to be, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna write a song about this and it's gonna sound like this. Yeah, you have those people. I mean, it's the same way you can go, buy a microwaved meal, but it's still not the same as if somebody's literally making it in the kitchen with love.
Totally.
Is totally different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have that difference, but we need more of that. So thank you for being, a part of kind of fishing that stuff back out there.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much.
Like I said, Melissa and I are about to get married on Saturday, and
Oh, congrats.
inside of my wedding ring has actors lyrics. You guys were kind of a band that we discovered together and shared with each other. And,
so cool.
first time seeing you guys was together. So there was just, it's nice to like continue and grow that. So thank you for that personally. And I'm sure there are lots of people out there with other stories, that where they've really connected with, leather songs and actor songs in your artwork. So keep doing that.
So much to us. It's really special.
Yeah, so keep doing that. I look forward to more tours and more music, and we'll definitely catch up soon. And if you find that actor's t-shirt in a large, you gotta let me know.
Yeah, you bet. I promise.
All right. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for being on the Nobody Speaks podcast, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.